MMOs have been around for a very long time, and they've been a staple in gaming ever since their inception. And some of the most popular games of all time have been MMOs. World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Animal Jam, some of the staples in gaming history. In the midst of the 2000s, there is a large number of companies that attempted to make kid-friendly MMOs in order to capitalize on the growing trend of membership fees. Kids would beg their parents to pay the $10 per month membership fee or a discounted yearly price in order to play a new fun online game that was advertised down their throats on admittedly sick TV commercials. One of the more notable MMOs that was released during this time period was Wizard101. Wizard101 was developed by King's Isle Entertainment and was released in 2008. At the time of release, Wizard101 had 4 full worlds, each with unique questlines and atmospheres, and as of now, the game has grown to have 17 full worlds. As surprising as it is to see a 13-year-old made-for-kids MMO still functioning today, it's even more surprising to learn that this game still has a very active player base. Much of the player base today is made up of people who grew up playing the game just like me. Wizard101 is able to find relative success today, in part due to their ability to grow with their fanbase in terms of game mechanics and difficulty. As the player progresses, the game mechanics grow more complicated. Top-tier loot is only obtainable by farming difficult bosses and dungeons. Crafting exists, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Wizard101 takes place in the fictional universe of the Spiral. You, as the player, are enrolling in the Ravenwood Academy of Magical Arts, where all the best teachers, a frog, and an Englishman are going to teach you how to become a wizard. First, however, you have to create your character. You start off by doing this very difficult personality quiz, and unlike the SAT, there are no tutors on TikTok to help you here.
Do not read this whole problem.
This quiz determines what school of magic you will be studying, and there are 7 different schools of magic in the game: fire, storm, ice, death, myth, life, and balance. There are secondary schools, but they're not important until later on in the game, so unless you're a weenie, you won't need to know anything about them. Fire is a school of flames and Guy Fieri, good for damage, damage over time, and Flavor Town. Storm is another school built for damage.
Little known fact, but the Storm School is the reason that Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner named their daughter Stormy. They are actually big Wizard101 fanatics.
Ice is the tank school. Their wizards have a ton of health and meaty. I don't know much else about this school, but believe me when I say it fucking sucks. Unlike Ice, Death is a great school for beginner wizards. It's the main school of choice for those without any friends, because Death's main gimmick is that some spells give health back after you deal damage. No need for any of those silly support classes to heal and protect you, because you are all you need, you rock star. Now, Myth is the greatest school of all time, and I'm not just saying that because this was a school I picked as a kid. I mean, look at this frog. Now that you're done looking at the frog, you weirdo, freaking perv, I'll tell you about Life. Life is a support school that is centered around healing, and their only purpose is to heal the whiny Storm and Fire wizards spamming insults about their mother in chat. Lastly, there's Balance. Balance is another support school, but instead of healing people like Life, their main purpose is to buff the Storm and Fire wizards who are spamming insults about their mother in chat. You get different spells based on what school you choose. These spells take the form of cards, and you get new ones periodically as you level up. As you level up, you also get training points, which you can use to gain other school spells. After you get these cool new spells, you're able to put them into your deck, and at the beginning of each encounter, you draw a 7-spell hand based on the spells you put into your deck previously. If you draw a sucky hand, you can get rid of however many spells you want and hope to get better ones on the next turn. Or you can draw treasure cards, which are one-time use cards that can get you out of a jam. Now, each spells require a certain number of pips to cast. These sucky white ones are worth 1 pip, but these way cooler yellow pips are worth 2. White privilege doesn't exist in the world of pips. Now, these special yellow pips are called power pips, and you have a chance of getting one each turn. The probability goes up as you level up and get better gear. Speaking of better gear, let's talk about microtransactions.
Oh my god, Baba!
It's KI's tendency to just over-monetize their game.
They've
Been monetizing just pretty much everything. I mean, with
you were gone. We had steps on an empty stage. That boy's got my heart in a
Other than the $10 per month membership fee, the other way you can spend money in this game is through the premium currency known as crowns. Now, these crowns are very expensive, and as a person who is easily susceptible to these kinds of things, I have spent my fair share of money on crowns. You can use crowns to get cool mounts, pets, plants, henchmen, and gear among other things. However, by far the most purchased items in the game are packs. These packs are essentially gambling. Like loot boxes in other games, you can purchase these packs for a chance at exclusive armor, wands, mounts, and other items. Some of the equipment you can get in these packs can actually be really useful. The chances of getting the stuff you actually want or need is very low, and some people have reported spending hundreds of dollars in order to get the gear they need. Not me though, not at all. Unlike crowns, you don't have to pay for gold, which is the non-premium currency in the game. I mean, you can pay for it if you really want to, but that's besides the point. You can use gold to buy a few mounts,
houses,
and everything in the entire universe at the bazaar. Damn, no way, this man has narcissist. As I said before, this game takes place in the mythical universe called the Spiral, and within the Spiral there are many, many different worlds. These worlds and the stories that take place within them are divided into 4 different story arcs. 3 of them have been fully completed and the 4th is still ongoing today. The arc that everybody remembers is the first arc, with good old Malistaire and his dead wife. Now here's an in-depth and well-edited summary of the story in each of the worlds for the first arc. After you begin the game and enroll in Ravenwood, Merle Ambrose tasks you with finding out what's wrong with Wizard City. He's far too busy with his pet bird doing who knows what. Whatever he does with his bird is left up to the imagination. As you help the people with their problems and defeat various bosses, you very quickly figure out that Malistaire is behind all these evil doings. So after beating up the Skeleton Man, you make your way to Krakatopia, a world heavily based off of ancient Egypt, because Malistaire is looking for a magical book known as the Croconomicon, which is known to bring dead people back to life. Malistaire needs this bad boy in order to bring the old dead wife back to life. After you arrive to this world, you learn that the ruling lizard people class have enslaved the Manders, so being the good anti-slavery wizard that you are, you save them. After saving these Manders, you meet up with the secret lizard people organization called the Order of the Fang in order to find the Croconomicon. This secret organization takes you to the tomb where it's supposedly at, but you instead meet up with the leader of the ruling lizard people class, Crocopatra. After killing her, you realize that the Croconomicon isn't there. Why isn't it there? The British strike again as they've stolen another artifact and placed it in a museum. Once you make your way to the British dog homeland of Marleybone, you tell some dogs to hand over the Croconomicon because you're a little wizard and you're gonna save the universe with it. But they essentially tell you to fuck off unless you help them beat up some gang members. Now you are forced to help these racist-ass dogs who imprison people based on what type of animal they are and colonize areas. There are some parallels to real life that you may have picked up on already. While in the process of ridding the streets of gang members who are, for some reason, exclusively from New Jersey,
Fraternity house, but you'll never have him. It's locked up tight.
you find out that Malistaire is breaking out their gang leader from prison. Unfortunately, you're the one stuck with beating the shit out of this cat. Unfortunately again, Malistaire had the time to get the best of you and steal the Croconomicon from the museum while you were out being a good person. Shame on you. You learn that Malistaire is going to a world called Dragonspire, but in order to get there, he needs to get the key from the Emperor of Mushu. You attempt to get there before him, but he was able to poison the Emperor and steal the key before you could arrive. Now it's your responsibility to heal the Emperor. In order to heal him, you need to beat up 4 Onis who are the ones causing problems here. After beating up every single last Oni, the Emperor gives you the Dragonspire key. Now it's finally time for your showdown with the Death Man himself, Malistaire. His bald-headed brother tells you that Malistaire plans to awaken the Dragon Titan in order to bring back his extremely dead wife. You finally make your way to Malistaire and try to use his dead wife to convince him to stop awakening the Dragon Titan. He hits the Dougie and you're forced to fight him. After an intense battle, you murder him and send him to heaven, or hell probably. Hopefully you got all of that because I'm not repeating myself. Now that that's over with, let's talk about just the overall vibe of Wizard 101.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real! Can we get much higher?
Maybe it's the fact that I played Wizard 101 religiously as a child, but goddamn does this music take me back. This soundtrack is easily in the top 5 video game soundtracks ever made, argue with a wall. It's like a trip down to 2009 all over again. Simpler times.
Now it's official, we are in a recession.
Speaking of nostalgia, let's talk about destroying laptops with viruses. That's right, if you played Wizard 101 back in the day as a kid, I'm sure that you've at least tried to use these Crown/membership generators. I think I infected at least 2 laptops with a multitude of viruses due to these generators back in the day. Not only did these generators not work, but most were either locked behind endless surveys or gave your computer STDs.
We're HIV positive.
As I'm sure any kid that illegally downloaded things off the internet did, I blamed all the viruses on Wizard 101 itself rather than the shady software I downloaded.
I'm probably dead. Murdered. By my brother-in-law, Hank Schrader. Hank has been building a meth empire for over a year now and using me as his chemist. Shortly after my 50th birthday, he asked that I use my chemistry knowledge to cook methamphetamine
Though Wizard101 has been out for a long time, its player base has remained relatively stable recently, though it isn't as popular as it was years ago. KingsIsle has been pushing out a new world every year for the past 3 years, including 2022. Fan reception has been generally positive towards these new worlds, especially towards a newest world coming out called Novus. Personally, I think this world looks fucking sick. If the spells are at least half as cool as the spells and spell idea videos from 2011, then this world's going to be a resounding success. The discussion on whether or not Wizard101 is going to die in the near future is not a new one. It seemed like the death of this game has been on the horizon for many years at this point, but there's still an active enough player base to support this game. However, with the ever-increasing amount of cash grab attempts made by KingsIsle and their parent company, Gamigo, it seems like more and more longtime players are being turned away from the game. I mean, Wizard101 has been out for 14 years, and yet much of Wizard City, the very first world in the game, is still locked behind a paywall. New players can't even properly try the game before they need to sell their extensive Muhammed's collection in order to pay for membership. Couple that with a terrible support system and a lead designer which everyone seemingly hates for a multitude of reasons, there are a lot of things that point to the death of Wizard101 being relatively soon. But honestly, that's been the case for so many years that I doubt it'll ever happen in my lifetime. Whatever the case, Wizard101 will always have a special place in my heart, as it was a huge part of my childhood. Wizard101 is still a fun game that has charm and an interesting story along with it, and interesting gameplay mechanics, but new content updates are often met with a mixture of opinions, though mostly negative. With each update, it seems as if KingsIsle continues to stray further away from what their current player base actually wants, with their insistence on making Wizard101 as monetizable as humanly possible, while fixing as little bugs as possible. Do you have $10 that you have absolutely no need for? Do you have a burning desire to relive those nostalgic years of your past? Do you love turn-based games? Do you also have hemorrhoids? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then you should probably try out Wizard101. Though its death seems inevitable at this point, there is still fun to be had for new players and people who used to play the game back in the day, but haven't played it for years. The community is also pretty welcoming to new players, and there are plenty of YouTube videos and tutorials out there to guide you along the way. You also might need to buy some hemorrhoid cream. Just a little suggestion. Thank you to everybody who watched my annual YouTube video. Sorry for not pumping out videos more frequently, but with school and everything else going on in my life, I'm pretty busy. Don't worry though, there are still way more videos and projects in the works currently. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.